In this video, I'm going to be unboxing and checking out the new Duo Evo Plus in the 8-quart size. I saw the 6-quart of this version of the Instant Pot come out several weeks ago, and it looked very intriguing. Seems like the Instant Pot company is coming out with a new style of Instant Pot every other week, and so it's been a little bit annoying trying to keep up with that, and a lot of times the new versions don't really add a whole lot or add very, very little. And so most of them I just let pass on by. But this one looked like they had made a lot of interesting changes. And so I really was interested in checking it out. And I was tempted to go ahead and order the 6-quart because it was available right away. But I knew that I would probably use the 8-quart more. So I decided to wait, and it was just delivered a few days ago. I ordered it from Williams-Sonoma because it wasn't available on Amazon yet, and I am going to get it unboxed and show you the differences that they have made, the upgrades that they have added, and we'll see if it lives up to all the hype. As far as I can tell, so far it looks really pretty. That's one thing. They've really worked on the features just to make it look really sleek and nice. So let's go ahead and get this box open and check it out. One cool thing right off the bat is that they do include an additional sealing ring now, so you can have one sealing ring for sweet and savory, or just an extra for whenever you happen to need it. And with this model, they don't include the rice paddle and the rice cup and the little ladle that they have in the previous models, which is not really that much of a loss in my opinion. The last thing in the box is just the packet of paperwork. So they have two books here. There's the safety, maintenance, and warranty booklet, and then the getting started guide. And one thing to note here is that there is no recipe book. In every other Instant Pot I have unboxed, they've had a recipe book, and it looks like that has been done away with. All right, now let's get a closer look at this. Let's first look at the lid. You can see the handle here is redesigned. It's more of a curved shape, and you can see these handle stands are more on the sides. They're not directly across from each other like on the other models, but they're kind of back. So that is interesting. We'll see how that works out when the lid is standing in the Instant Pot. Oops. You'll also notice that it has this grate on here, which is kind of interesting. I am guessing that is so that the metal on the lid isn't accessible to touch and to burn yourself with. That's my guess. And it looks like you can take this off for cleaning, which might come in handy. Now to the steam release and the pressure valve. This is similar to the Instant Pot Max. It had a plastic cover over the pressure release valve. And of course on this one, they redesigned it so that you can seal and vent with just a little switch instead of actually having to touch the pressure release valve. So this just pops off just like that, very similar to the other models, but it doesn't have the little handle because you're not actually going to be touching this when you are releasing the steam. That pops right back on there, and you can see the switch kind of makes it move. And this pops right on there like that. The sticker didn't come off super cleanly. All right, so that's the top of the lid. Now let's look at the bottom. That looks very similar to the other models, the same little cover here, and this pops off for cleaning. Sometimes this will get dirty and gunked up, and you want to make sure that it's clean so that the steam can get through it really easily. And that pops right back on like that. Now, as far as the little pin here, this is the same as the other models where you can take off the little silicone cap on the bottom, and you would only want to do that if you're going to be cleaning it, but it stays on when you're cooking. It will not come up to pressure without that. And then the little valve can pop right through with the silicone cap off, and you can clean that if it gets gunked up. But we're going to put it right back together here. Pop that on, and then the lid is all ready to go because it already has the first sealing ring in there. The red sealing ring over there is just extra, so you don't even need to worry about it. Now, another one of the really cool new features of this model of Instant Pot is that they added handles to the inner pot. And I think this is the first time that they have redesigned the inner pot at all. On all of the other models, it has remained the same, just in different sizes. And so this is a really cool upgrade. Of course, we have some caution paper and then the trivet. The trivet looks a little bit redesigned, which is interesting. It's got some really nice clear markings on here. I'll be interested to see how these hold up. It's not raised in the steel like the other Instant Pot inner pots were. So we'll see if it rubs off at all as you use this, but as it is right now, it looks really nice. It's got quart lines and liter lines. And then of course it has a half fill line and the max pressure cooker fill line. And it looks really, really sleek. These handles are really nice. They're like a silicone. They will make it so easy to remove the inner pot. I also have heard that this can be used as a pot on the stove. So if you happen to have something in your inner pot and you wanted to reheat it on the stove, that you could totally do that with this pot, which is the first Instant Pot inner pot that is approved for that. Now you can see when you put the inner pot in, you have to put it in the right way or else the handles won't work. There are these indentations right here for the handles to sit into, and that's probably the reason why they moved the lid rest to the back a little bit. And it just sits in there just like that. So when you're stirring, you don't have to worry about the pot spinning or moving. It stays in place. So sauteing will be so much easier and so nice with that upgrade. So now to check out how the lid sits in the rests. You can either put it on this side like that or flip it over to this side and it rests just like that. I did notice that you can't put it backwards, like you can't put this in here, it won't fit. You have to use the correct side with the correct side. I'm not sure why they would work to make that the way it is, but I'm sure there's some good safety reason. I wanted to show real quick on the back, there is a condensation collector, this is a double wide condensation collector, a lot bigger than the other models, and that just fits right on the back like that. And I like that in the box it came already attached on here, because that was a question that I got asked quite often, because it used to come in the packet of other accessories and people were confused about where it goes. But in this, it came right where it was supposed to go. And then the cord over here, I wanted to mention, is not detachable. Instant Pot has gone back and forth between having detachable and not detachable cords, and I'm not sure entirely all of the reasons for that, but I wanted to mention that this one was not detachable. Another cool thing they did on this model, which is also something they did on the Instant Pot Max, is they made this area around the edge a little bit wider. The plastic comes out a little bit, kind of fans out, so that it's a lot easier to clean. That was a difficult thing in some of the other models, to get something in there and get it nice and clean, but they have tried to really work on that by widening up this area. So here's something interesting I was just checking out in the quick start guide. They have a quick cool option that apparently you can only do if you buy the optional quick cool tray that is sold separately. I'll have to check that out and see what it looks like. But apparently you can remove this. They call this the Quick Cool Protective Cover. Then you take your Quick Cool tray, whatever that looks like, and you fill it with ice and you place it here. And apparently it makes the pressure release naturally a lot more quickly. They say up to 50% faster. So that's an interesting option. I'll have to check that out and see what that looks like. Now let's talk about the display. I was really hoping that this was going to be a touchscreen. The Instant Pot Max has a touchscreen and I absolutely love it. The controls are so intuitive and easy, and it's just a dream to operate. And I was really hoping that they would put that on the Duo Evo Plus, but sadly it is not a touchscreen. You use the dial similar to the Ultra model, but unlike the Ultra model, they do have some buttons on the side for the different settings. With the Ultra, you had to spin through the different settings on a little screen. So one thing I really like about this model is that all of these different buttons here actually do something different as far as a different cooking method. A lot of the presets on the other models they all cooked the same way, they just were a different time, like a preset time. So it was kind of redundant and kind of silly, and everyone just ended up using pressure cook anyway. But all of these settings actually do something different on here. They do still have presets, and they're in here in a menu on the screen that you can scroll through. But I like that they didn't clutter up the whole display with 1,000 buttons for all these different presets that really no one really use. I like that they have the option to turn off the sound. Apparently, if you hold this for 5 seconds, the sound will turn off. Oh, and you turn the dial to switch it to sound off. I'm going to keep the sound on for now. And if I hit the button again, I can switch from Fahrenheit to Celsius. I'm going to keep it on Fahrenheit. One thing I noticed here in the manual, they have this great chart that tells you all the different things that the different buttons do. And for the steam setting, I noticed that it says no pressure steaming for fish and vegetables. And that's interesting because the steam button on the other models is a pressure setting. And so that is something to take a note of, that that's different. One other thing to take note of is that the saute setting now only has a high and a low setting. On the other one, you had 3, less, normal, and more. And now real quick, I'm gonna run the initial water test that you can find on page 14 of the quick start guide. It's pretty simple. Just add 3 cups of water to the inner pot. Now I'm gonna lock the lid. And one thing to note, that if you do have the little switch on the venting position, the act of closing the lid switches it to the sealing position, so you never have to worry about setting it to the sealing position before you cook. Now I'm going to hit pressure cook, and custom is flashing, and I'm going to select that. These are all of the different presets that you can choose from, but I'm going to choose custom, and that would be like manual from the other models. Select custom, and then I want to turn the time down to 5 minutes, and the pressure is on high. You can change from high to low like that, but I want it on high, and I'm going to hit start, and we got this nice little progress bar that's going to tell me where I am in the process. And we'll just let it come up to pressure, and then once the cook time is finished, it'll come up to pressure, cook time will go for 5 minutes, and once the 5 minutes are up, I will do a quick release with the little switch, and that'll be very exciting. Now I'm going to quickly release the pressure, and I wanted to note the cover on here and how many holes there are, and that's going to like disperse the steam a little more, so it's not like a big shot of steam coming out. So that is an upgraded feature on this model. Just going to flip this to venting. Yeah, that was much less intense than some of the other models. It took about 8 minutes to come up to pressure with the 3 cups of water in there, and this whole water test took about 13 or 14 minutes. I almost grabbed my hot pads a second ago so that I could take this water and dump it into the sink, and then I remembered that I have these beautiful handles and I don't need to have any hot pads. I can just pull it right out of the Instant Pot base. As a recap, I wanted to list off the differences between the Duo Evo Plus and the basic Duo. Like I said at the beginning, there are a lot of different Instant Pot models, and so it'd be hard to compare all of the different models, but I just wanted to go over just the basic Duo compared to the Duo Evo Plus. Also, I'm just going to talk about the functional differences. Obviously, there's difference in look and aesthetics, but those you can pretty much see for yourself, so I'm just going to be talking about the functional differences. Number one, and probably the coolest difference in my opinion, is the handles on the inner pot. Makes it easy to saute without the inner pot spinning. Also makes it super easy to remove from the Instant Pot base. You don't need to get hot pads. Number two is that you can use the inner pot on the stove like a regular pot. That is a really cool upgrade. Number 3 is the widened rim that makes it a lot easier to clean. Number 4 is the quick cool option with the quick cool tray. Number 5 is the sealing and venting switch. When you close the lid, it automatically puts it to sealing, so you don't have to remember to do that every time. That is a really nice upgrade. Number 6 is that it actually has more presets than the Duo. Even though it has fewer buttons on the front, there are lots and lots of presets within each of those buttons. So you're going to be getting tons of them. I forget the exact number, but it's lots. And I am highlighting that because it is a difference, but in my opinion, it's not a huge upgrade because functionally, presets are not used very often, but with the Duo Evo Plus, you will have more of them. Number 7 is the sous vide button. You can sous vide in the Duo Evo Plus. It does not circulate like a regular sous vide machine, but you can keep the temperature at a sous vide temperature. I have not tried it out. I don't know how well it will work. And the final one, number 8, is the dispersed steam through the steam release cap. It makes it not quite as an explosion when you quick release the pressure. So that is it for my first look at the Duo Evo Plus 8 quart. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if it is going to be going on your Christmas list or if you are happy with whatever model it is that you have. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back again soon. I just noticed a typo on this warning sheet. For best results, use authorized instant brand inner posts for cooking. Now, I expect that's going to cause some confusion.